Thanks, Jake. Hi there, everyone. So there's many words that we have to try and describe that kind of bundle of malfeasances that we were confronted with in the US elections. You know, there's kind of the fake news and misinformation and disinformation and online hate and various other vernaculars related to online harm. But the one that I like is information warfare. And the reason I like it is because I think it, as an idea, kind of reflects a very important change in the way that people are approaching those kinds of events and approaching the way that information interacts with them. Information's always been a tool of war. You don't have to look back very hard for thousands of years to see that. But something that has been happening much more recently than that is the kind of reconceptualization of information as a theatre of war, as a place that war occurs within. And I think like what we have been experiencing, not just in the recent US elections, but the one before that and elections and events all over the world, is people coming to terms with what that idea really means and really developing a kind of grab bag of techniques constantly evolving and tradecraft in order to actually wage information warfare. Coming out of US 2020, I think some things are really quite clear now. We're definitely seeing the extension of information warfare beyond seismically important global events like the US. We're seeing it quickly become in much wider use in local elections. We're seeing it move not necessarily just at the level of geopolitics, but also sometimes between companies or even just disaffected individuals. And it's clearly also now kind of being recalibrated to kind of target kind of global conversations, not just specific elections. And all of that means that really many more of us than previously are now having to kind of worry really about what information warfare is possibly happening to the communities that we care about, to the issues that we cherish, and basically all the different bits of life that each of us work on a daily basis and want to protect. I think that's the kind of the situation we find ourselves in now. Now, the answer, oh, by the way, yeah, so I'm from Chasm, which is ISD's kind of technology partners. And the answer that us and ISD have been trying to work on and think about has been, how do we begin to build the kind of defensive apparatus that the tech giants have built for civic society? I think strategically speaking, that strikes me anyway as being one of the kind of most important kind of ways out of the current situation that we've got. In many senses, the US elections are rare in the sense that they're one of the only times when information warfare really becomes a matter of kind of global debate and attention. But actually, most of the time, this stuff happens under the radar and is a largely invisible battle that's happening between the tech giants and the people that seek to do information warfare. Now, clearly, for civic society, that's not good enough. There's lots of reasons why civic society needs to be able to detect it at scale and respond to it at scale. We need to do it to keep the platforms honest. We need to do it because sometimes what platforms care about isn't the same things that what civic society cares about. And we need to do it because there's always going to be kind of underserved localities and languages and issues around the world that will be able to kind of bring less kind of political media attention on corporate entities, but which actually civil society still wants to do something about and defend. So kind of, I think, you know, we're in the early stages now of trying to describe anyway what this kind of new defensive apparatus will look like. Clearly, it's got to be something where lots of different civil society groups are all getting together to help to build it. Clearly, we're going to have like technology which we all share and pass back and forth between us and constantly develop. Clearly, it needs to be something which is kind of anchored in the communities which it serves. And it needs to be something which, probably rare for civic society, has to operate at a scale and a constantness which is just very different from the way that we all normally work. So this kind of levies kind of really quite profound challenges to everyone that works in civic society and the way that we work in order to actually respond to. If anyone is interested in defensive apparatuses, technologies, methods, and information warfare, then me and Chloe wrote a pamphlet, quite short pamphlet, mercifully, on this a couple of months ago, which kind of just begins to kind of sketch out in the broadest possible terms that we can, like what we think is actually needed here.